Good Wednesday evening to everyone who is joining us live. And as I've said before, if you're not live, we'd love it if you came and checked us out on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We're live every Wednesday night for a little fly time fun with my beautiful wife. So, what do we have in store for tonight? We're going to tie some cool little Klinkhamers. There's going to be with the Turkey Biots, so not 100% traditional, but I'm really excited about this because this is kind of my bread and butter, just tying little dry flies. We're going to tie big ones, and we're going to tie little ones, and maybe one in between. What's up, Chris, Josh, Al, Bill, and Kevin? We're going to do a little giveaway at 9:45, and Katie, as always, is going to show off the Magnus flies that you guys tied last week and sent to us. There wasn't as many as we normally get, but the way I look at it, they're Danish flies, and they're kind of a little bit different than our normal. I guess that mean Danish flies has nothing to do with it, but they're just different than our normal run-of-the-mill dry flies or nips. What's up, David? Go Vols. Freddie, long time no see. Troy, hello. Joe Jackson. Joe, guess what I found yesterday? This shows you how bad I am about cleaning up. Last time you and I were together, you gave me the flies that Bear tied for Katie, and I found it. And I put it over here special so Katie could show it. So maybe next week Katie will show it, even though we've already shown a picture of it that you sent. So thanks, Joe. And hey to everyone who is jumping on. So just a quick little preview. We'll switch it over to the vise to show you what we're going to tie. And we'll go live on Instagram. Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Will you switch over to the vise, please?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
Sorry. So if we're going to switch over to the vise, so you should, there it is. So here is our little big Klinkhamer. This is somewhat in a March Brown motif, we'll say. What's up, Mark? And I've also added a shuck to this, and we're going to make it even fancier tonight with the shuck. And this one has an extra thick post because I wanted a bigger fly that we could throw. We'll zoom in for the Instagram guys so they can see a little bit better. I wanted a little bit bigger profile, something that would hold up a little dropper as well. So this is what we're going to start off with. But before we start tying, typically we switch it over to Katie and let her show off some pictures. Are you ready, Katie?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
We had some really nice pictures of the Magnus fly that we did last week that I'd love to share with you guys. So let's go right over to that. We had a couple from Bull X72 that I stole from his reel. And here's the first one. And here's his second one. So those look really good. Two different versions of the same fly. And Dave Hall, 1391 on Instagram, shared a little stack of them with us. And we also had Jimmy's duo here. And I like the, whatever he has it sitting on looks really cool.
That almost looks like a Cree hackle, the one on the left. It looks like he used a Cree. He might have.
It does. Ken, thank you so much.
Kid B, always coming in. Always strong.
Coming in. And then one more picture to share of John Christopher fishing here. He's pulling in a fish right there. This was this past weekend.
I wish we could zoom in on it a little bit because the last week I told the story about how he was having a hard time getting bigger fish because his rod was bent so much he couldn't get his arm behind his back enough and the net out in front of him enough. And this weekend he got the he kind of got the swing of it, I guess if you want to call it. But if and hey there on Instagram, I see some people chatting on there. If you can come over and watch us live on YouTube, because you'll be able to see a lot better over here on YouTube. And I'll actually pay better attention to the comments on YouTube as well.
Let's see, that's a little better right there.
Yeah, so you can see that fish right there, and he's got to like sling that rod behind him because it's bent over almost. You can't see where it is. It's almost bent over to his head. and get out as far as he can. That's a pretty good sized net, but that's also a pretty good sized fish. Um, and Joe, that's right. He is doing the best he can to get
He was, and
a longer net might be an idea. Do what Katie.
he has improved a lot, really, for sure. He's gotten so much better.
Go gadget arms. Well, as soon as I think you're right, Mark. That is the first thing that is. Or I've got a lot of good piece of advice, but we don't have enough nets, honey. We've only got
Mhm.
like 7 that I'm looking at right now that are sitting over here. But maybe giving them one of the longer nets would be easier. But Ken is absolutely correct. They must make kids in Australia the same as they do in America, because in about a week his arms will probably be about 6 inches longer and they'll be fine. So
It'll sort itself out.
yeah, it will sort itself out. But you should see, you guys would die if you could see him just as far back as he can. He's like trying to get it, but that rod has bent over to his face, and he's like, ah.
Yes,
he
it'll
kinda
sort
got it.
itself out for sure.
He kind of got it a little better. So anyway, thank you, Katie, for that. No, that looks perfect the way we've gotten up there now, honey. Um, and Mark, since you're going to be up here, we'll have to get together here in about a month or so, hopefully. And if you guys are ever in the East Tennessee area, give us a shout. We'd love to hang out, fish, tie, do something fun. Right, Katie?
Right.
Because we've just got plenty of time just to sit around. Yeah. What's up, Howie? All right. So we've got the hook and the vise while we were playing around, looking at pictures. I went all out, and we'll try to get perfectly straight because it looks better on the camera when I get it just so. Now, this is the Daiichi 1167. So this is the Daiichi 1167 size 14. Now these are a little bit time. Well, David, we can probably make it work. These are, you don't see these very often on our channel anyway. The Daiichis, we usually tie on Timcos and Arex and different things, but I just really like the shape of this hook. I was tying on, gosh, a long time ago. Someone makes a light Klinkhamer hook, and it was just too lightweight, and it bent really bad. This is a good one though. I only have it down to size 18, and I wish I had it much, much, much smaller. What's up, Truman? Before I got what can I use in place of a Klinkhamer hook? So the TM code 2487 is the one I posted today. That was the size 20. That is this one. So that's a 2487 size 20. So you could do that in bigger. I mean, the biggest thing is it's a light-ish hook, and it's got the bend in it. There's, unless it's like an official Klinkhamer hook, they're not going to have quite this big of a bend. So the 2487, 2488 would be good. Good choices. I'm trying to think of other things. There's a lot. The little Scud hook. Just try to go for lighter wire. Yeah, the Daiichis are great. I just don't tie with them. There's nothing wrong at all. Oh, Steve, I'm glad you chimed in. I like the Daiichis. It's just one of those, when you've got to store so many hooks, and there's only so much organization that this little guy can do.
Well, I mean, it's a major improvement from earlier. So I gotta say, as I'm looking at it from over here, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Ken, thanks for hopping on. We'll see you next week. Have fun working in Australia.
Bye, Ken.
Mike, it does look huge, because for us, a size 14 is huge, but really it is a size 14. It's not like it's that darn big. But we'll go ahead and get to tying. So I'm going to use the 12-aught wood duck, Silverfly Classic Wax Thread wood duck for this one. Now this is one I think we're going to probably do a video just on this part, because this is something that we do a lot of, and I feel like I kind of do this pretty good. And I know there's other techniques out there, and that's fine. That they absolutely work, but this is just my technique, and not and it's not my technique. It's just how I do it. I've learned from 2,500 other people and just kind of stolen what I think works good. Um, and Yeah, so I like this. So let's switch over to the side view, honey. So what's the difference between Klinkhamer hooks and emerger hooks? A Klinkhamer just has more of an aggressive bend, in my opinion. I wish these were the game changer jaws. These are just the mids jaws. If I could do it, they didn't have the game changer jaws when I got these. So Dave goes a few $100. There's quite a few. Let's break. Oh, it's no bueno. So what I've got here is some Semperfly poly yarn. So it's this stuff right here. So Semperfly poly yarn. There you go. In different colors. And someone asked me, it was Dober Doug asked me today, said, how'd you get the black in that post? And this is all I did. I just took different flavors of it, like I've got here. You probably can't see it. There's probably about half a dozen black fibers in there, and there actually wasn't black in the one we posted today.
Put it up there next to the hook.
Okay, so I've got some dun. I've got a few pieces of black and white. So all I'm gonna do is this is totally not necessary. This is because we're dorks, right? Let's cut that right there. So now I've got just one piece here, and we're just going to kind of roll them around. This is way shorter than I'm used to working with because I got down to my last little bit. But we're just going to roll it around. If you want to, you could brush it however you want. That's fine. So I hope this is going to work. So to tie this on, let me make sure this is going to be long enough. So I might just have to totally redo it. Yeah, I'm gonna redo it. That's how I mix. If you want to get a fancy color, flavor, whatever, that's how you mix it. Just grab different kinds. Let's not overthink it. We're just gonna go with white for this. Just to get it done kind of quick. Kinda. So you get your parachute material here. Here's this is just straight off the card. You want to adjust the thickness. Sometimes in the case of one we posted today, I actually added to this a little bit. On this size 20, it's not much at all. So depending on the size of your hook, the size of your fly you're going to tie, you will adjust how much material you use. Take this, hold it by your finger like this. So let's look at both sides. That angle, you see I'm holding it there, and let's switch back to the side. See I'm holding it right here. Then I grab it like this, and see how I'm holding that. So the thread's just kind of dangling. You can go like this, right? And then I take the thread, bring it over and down, and here's where it'll switch back to the hook. So here is where, see, I can place this parachute post right where I want it. So right there's where I want it. And I don't want to say it's personal preference, but if you want it farther back, put it farther back, farther forward, put it further forward. Here's the key to, what's up, Wes? There's our basketball buddy. Did you go to, where was it, honey? Maryville? No, not Maryville. Murfreesboro. Anyway, so we've got our one wrap on there, and I'm keeping my thread tight. And that's the key thing to having a solid parachute post doing it this way, is keeping your thread tight. So I'm going to put 3 wraps. And if you want to double up or if you want to put 4, that's fine. But it's got 1 on there, so right on top of each other. 2, 3. So now we have 3 wraps on there, keeping it tight. Pull this back like this, and right beside, like right there, 1, 2, 3, keeping this tight. If we let go of this and let this hang, if we let go of the tension, then it loosens up everything. We're going to have a, what's hammering, John? Then we're going to have a unstable foundation, we'll say. So we've got our 3 in the middle, 3 in the front. Pick this up, put our 3 here. 1, 2, 3. So 3 in the middle, 3 in the front, 3 in the back. Still keeping my thread tight. I haven't loosened up yet. Now we're going to go around 1, 2, keeping it tight, 3. Now we can let go. So we've got a nice little foundation here built, and that's small, doesn't take up a lot of room. And so kind of like we're talking about the eyes, the dumbbell eyes last week, it doesn't matter how, like these hooks, I don't care how good a hook it is, it will bend. If you don't, I don't care how good or what style you're using, if you grab your parachute post and pull it down, either the hook's going to bend or it's going to spin around the hook. Like, you're not going to like get this thing absolutely concrete. But you can see when I twist this around and pull it down, it's staying right there on top of the hook shank. And that's what we want. We don't want it to with minimal pressure move it around. Hey, Deb. I haven't tried mine hooks, Randy. I have not. So is everyone up to speed with what I've done so far? So now what we're going to do is we're going to parachute post this up. So I flatten my thread just a little bit. And this is kind of we're going to go back to having pretty tight wraps. But this is where we want to let our thread do the work. We're keeping constant pressure. We don't want to, now I had someone ask earlier, see how it's just going to slowly, once I get that gap filled up, it's going to stack on top of you. Sorry, not on top of each other, but it'll make side-by-side wraps. This is a kind of a feel thing that you just need to start doing, shall I say. And see how I'm pulling on this and the hook is moving? That tells me I've got a pretty good thread base, pretty good parachute post tied in. So we're going to keep on going up. So these are not overlapping, but there's no gaps in between. Now, back when I used to have a whole bunch of hackle on my flies and they looked really cool and it was really purty. And now I'm going with less hackle. And for me, that's good. If you want to go up more, go up more. That's fine. You see how the post here is smooth. Look on the back side. See how it's pretty, I got one little bump in there, but it's pretty smooth. You want the post to be as smooth as possible. And let me explain. We'll switch back over to me real quick. I'm using wax, helps wrapping the post. If that helps you, that's fine. That's good. Katie, we switch back over to perfect. We switch back over to me.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. So the way the hackle works, so the hackle stem, the rachis is not round. Okay, it is kind of oval, we'll say. And when that wraps around the parachute post, if that parachute post is curvy, it's going to follow the contour of the parachute post. If that parachute post is straight up and down and nice and smooth, the wraps will stack up side by side. Or if you space them out, that's fine. But the fibers are going to come out in the same orientation. I think I hope that's making sense. If it's not flat, the fibers are going to follow the contour of the parachute post. Does that make sense? So long story short, keep your parachute post flat, straight, smooth, side-by-side wraps. If you see you've got a gap, then that's probably going to make a bulge. So just undo it, go back and redo it. Hackle with these hooks, especially in size 10, 12. I hackle rolling. So we'll show a few things. The distance between the height of the post is equal to the distance of the post to the eye. Well, Joe, that is totally a personal preference. John, what I do is for this type of hook, I upsize the hackle for sure. So I think I've got a size 12 sitting out for a size 14. But anyway, that's a real quick tutorial on parachute post spinning. So now let's throw a cool little shuck tail on here. and put a body. So I'm going to bring my thread back. Let's do a little bit of a taper, just like this. So down and back. Now this is the part where when you're watching YouTube stuff, it's nice because they'll fast forward through it. I don't want a huge taper, but I do want some taper. And these are just side-by-side wraps. Someone tell a funny joke while I'm doing this. I'll probably go up one more time. And that, let's flatten out my thread. They're absolutely parallel, and if the post is smooth, correct. So, and Jimmy, if you're having a bumpy foundation, the post being bumpy, could be one of many things. Like, there's only so much you can do if your hackle's spinning. If you have it, like if it's twisting as you're wrapping, if the hackle is twisted, and it doesn't happen very often, but every now and then I get a hackle that is twisted, and it doesn't matter what you do to it. Like it needs to be pitched in the trash, unfortunately. Okay, so we'll pull this down a little bit more. Now I've got this done, and I'm going to do something a little different. I've got this Purdy feather right here that's got these bars on it, so I'm probably not going to use them. So I'm going to pull this out, pull not too many, but we'll say that many fibers off. I'm going to go back to the hook. I want to be not that long. So remember, think March brown here. And we want this to be sinking down in the the film. This will go past the film. It's so big. So that was just a nice little wood duck. It goes size 24 linear string, which is also done exactly how cool. Nice. I don't know if I've got that one. I probably do somewhere. So now I've got some sparkle or merger yarn, because this right here, and I just have a little piece of it that I've tied a knot in here. And we're just going to make sure my tips are lined up, which they're kind of lined up, but not all the way. Like I said, we did this one a little different than the one we posted. This one's going to be a little fancier. All right. So we all know the last chance cripple. So that's kind of what that tail wise, that's what we're shooting for here. Okay. Now we'll cut this, about like that. So that looks pretty good. Like the shape hooks. I'm going to try to parch it. Yeah, but I do wish this came in the smaller sizes. I don't know if we've got that one in the parch it or not. All right, so another star of the show. So we're going to use Dark Dun, these Magpie Materials Wild Biots. And this was, I said Dark Dun. Brown Drake is a color that we'll be using here. And I'm going to prep these a little bit different because I'm going to get pretty close to the parachute post. I can get this one to come out. So I'm going to get my longer Renomed scissors. And I'm just going to cut off just a little bit of that, maybe a touch more, of the webby part of it. There we go. And you'll see kind of what that, especially for smaller flies, that helps. Thanks, Randy. And Katie has if y'all are interested, we've got the web address for the Magpie stuff. Let's cut this off before I get too far ahead.
I'll pin that address to the top of the chat.
Okay. Thank you, honey. Sorry. I got a biot.
You got something in your mouth. What do you? Okay, I see.
All right. And we're done. So on my biots, I like to just soak them just a little bit, run through my mouth. So that this, here it is. You can see where I trimmed a little bit of that webbing off this side. I'm going to tie it in by the tip. Make sure it's right there by the base. And now we're going to come up. And I just think this makes a really pretty looking body. Actually, you know what? Just because I don't have to redo it, I've got a piece of 0.1 millimeter wire here that we put on the other side. Normally I tie this in first before the biot, but we'll get it tied in here. So you see how it's tied in the opposite side. And there we go. Now we're going to pull out Nan's favorite hackle pliers and wrap a biot. And I'm using, you see, I've got the my bobbin and the bobbin holder, and I'm just holding the biot itself, making sure I've got where it goes the right way. And this is where just taking your time and getting the wraps exactly the way you want them the first time. If you don't, being confident to just undo it and do it again. But I'm doing half a wrap at a time here. So like you can see, I'm kind of, when I'm rocking it back and forth, I'm just placing where I want. And then I bring everything down, place it where I want, bring everything down, place it down, keep on going. And there we go. Grab that. And I bet my thing's in the way, so let me move that. So that looks pretty. What happened here? Well, I'm back at the beginning. You're not Joe unless you, well, you probably can't hear me for back at the beginning. All right, so we got that tied in. Now we're going to go back to do the exact same thing with the wire. Some of them are, what happens, what that was beautiful in this. In the beginning, it was hot, then it was cool. So I don't use, I just don't like putting lacquer or super glue on for this application. That's why I'm putting this 0.1 millimeter wire. I feel like this adds a little bit of protection. Normally I pinch the barb on the water. I don't do it when I'm tying because there's a lot of times that if I want to use this and throw a dropper on the hook itself, then I kind of lose out on being able to do that if I cut the barb off. Now I can still do it with it being barbless, but I totally forgot what. The glue. I just don't like using super glue. And if I can get 3, 4, 5 fish out of it, I'm fine. I'm not really worried about it. And you see how that barely shows up, that little piece of wire. If I want to use a brighter wire, I could, but we now have our body made. And I don't know who said about the tail, but I kind of agree. That looks pretty cool. So we'll stick it back in the vise here, get it going straight up and down. And now we're going to try with our thread to get this piece there down. Cool. Now we're good. All right. Give John a thumbs. Thank you, Al. And for those of you all who are promoters, Katie and I are looking at like when I'm coming in here, messing around, getting set up, or trying to figure out what I want to tie on the show. Just turning my phone on and going live on YouTube and just having it available for promoters. So thank you so much to all the promoters that are on here. Where for weight purposes, durability. David, I put it on there for durability because I feel like the hook has got enough metal to sink that part of it. It really, this 0.1 is so light. It would, if I put that whole piece of wire, I guarantee if I set that on the water, it would float. I mean, it's just not penetrate the film. But yeah, just durability. So now let's put our hackle in, tie our hackle in. So I've got a pretty rusty natural done here. And all I'm going to do is switch over to the vise itself. So you can see I haven't done anything to it. All I'm going to do is pinch off the bottom a little bit like that. And I'm going to pull these off because they don't look good. They don't look good. And I'm going to wrap it like this with the color down. So see how this is a really pretty color right here? You can see that nice little whatever color. And then when I flip it over, and it's that color. And that's kind of the way it is with a lot of feathers. You've got kind of a gray, dull shot side, and then you've got the color side. The way I started doing it is, we want the color for the fish to see. So it makes sense to have the color going down. Otherwise, you're doing the color up, and that's what we see. But anyway, so that's why I'm doing it that way. So if you want to, you can tie it in just like the way I've got it stripped right here. You don't have to strip anything off. But what I like to do is just strip just a little bit more off the side like this. So you can see there was a half dozen fibers or so trimmed off. Make sure you trim the right side so it's the correct side, not the right side. So once it's tied in, you start wrapping, you got that bare stem there. So I've got the thread on the hook point side of the post right now. Let's get it going straight up and down. I'm going to cross my feather over like this. And with the thread on the hook point side, I'm going to do one wrap and capture that in. Okay, so I just captured the feather in. I'm going to pull it up to where it is the height that I want. And now I can bring it around. And I can, with those same touching wraps, and these don't have to be absolutely touching. This is a good time if you do notice you've got a gap or something to fill in a gap. There we go. If you've got whatever the opposite of gap is, to maybe skip it over. So now we've got our hackle tied in. So, so I really didn't pay much attention to how it's tied in. Right now, it's actually tied in upside down. And I can manipulate it. I should be able to anyway. Manipulate it around to where it will wrap the way I want to. See that? So now the color's down. That's all just knowing how to manipulate it. But I like trying to test it to make sure it's not going to be like a weird hackle that's not going to spin around before I get my body tied in. Sure that's not going to be in the way. Oh, it still looks good. All right, so now we just need to tie in our thorax. I'm going to use some fancy March Brown kapok right there. And it doesn't have to be super skinny, but I definitely don't want it like super chunky either.
Do you know what a Klinkhamer is?
A clean.
Do you know what the word means?
They said a clean camera. I was like,
no. Klinkhamer.
Tell me.
Blacksmith.
Oh, a blacksmith. That's it. That makes sense. Makes complete sense. You're so smart, honey. We always learn something new. Mr. Hans will be so impressed by your knowledge, honey. Okay, so we've got Steve, Greg, trick. What trick's that? All right, so here is our little noodle. So the way I've kind of been doing this is I'll get my dubbing started right here. It's coming out right by the hook eye. I'll put a couple wraps on top of each other, but just start it there. And I'm going to bring it way back here on the far side and then put a couple wraps here, way back here. Because what I don't want with my thorax is to build it up so it is a big ball right underneath my parachute post. So I see a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just start doing cross wraps. They'll go like this, and then this, and this, and this, and that until they get the gap filled up there. And that's fine, but we want it to be a nice little taper body. And I did have to go back a little further here than I normally do because that buyout didn't go quite the way I wanted. But let's undo this stuff, put a little more dubbing on there, and keep going. I thought it was a hammer used in jail, manipulate the heck out, manipulate that dubbing color. I know that it might be something he does, but it's just something that I've kind of figured out after a while of retying and hackle and then being like, I wonder if I have to retie this one in, just trying it out, seeing if I can get by without tying it in again. Okay, so that looks pretty good right there. I've got a nice little taper. So I've got one little, see if I can fix that right there. Oh yeah, get that there. Now we'll get it up. So now I've got it filled in a little better. Looking nice. Okay, so this is where I'm going to probably mess up because I'm going to do it backwards than how I usually do it. So we'll take our thread. We're going to put one wrap right along the base. Okay, so right along the base, we're just kind of sinking everything in there, making sure it's good, making sure it's nice and tight. Now, normally I grab it and I'll go like this, and I get that parachute post going parallel or perpendicular straight out this way, and then I can wrap straight up, straight down. This time I'm going to try to do it like this because I want you all obviously to be able to see it. And I want it straight. Like I said, this is like, it's kind of like trying to ask me to tie left-handed here. Okay. So we've got our thing going this way. The only thing, like doing it this way, the advantage is I'm making wraps straight up, straight down. I can make my wraps a little bit cleaner. And that's just me personally. I can do it a little bit cleaner. I've done plenty of them. And maybe the next one we'll do just like without moving it to see how it goes. So you can see how it's going to start here. I've got my color going down, and I've got the first wrap goes right up top. Oh, there's a dog. Now, I'm going to bring it kind of exaggerate a little bit to make sure that my next wrap goes underneath that first wrap because we want it to go underneath. If it slips and goes on top, then it won't look correct. So see how we're looking right now? And now after the first one should, with the straight up and straight down, we're just kind of stacking these in here. I don't remember how many of those are. I'm not counting. But I know I'm done when, like I say I'm done here, but I can fit one more. So if you put a wrap in, like it did it here. See if I can get it where you can see it. I need some white. There we go. So when I put that in there, let's see if I can do it this one then. Okay, so when I make this wrap here, see how the hackle goes. Oh, see how the hackle goes up into the previous wrap, so it shoots up. That's when I know I'm done. That was really hard for me to be able to show. So now to finish the fly, I've got my thread. You can see it right here. I'm going to have my thread down like this. If you've got any hackle fibers going down right here, this will help prop them back up into your parachute. So underneath the hackle, and we'll sneak it over the hook here. Now it's coming towards me. And I've got my hackle stem going all the way down. So down underneath the hackle, except, of course, capture my hackle stem, over the eye and down. So that's one full wrap. 1, 2, 3. Now, I haven't pulled really tight yet. And see how we're looking right now. See how that is. And this is not meant to be like a super gorgeous, like perfect anything. This is just fishing fly. So you see how this is the hackle stems right there. It's not perfect in focus, but I'm going to take it, cut that out. And if you want, see that one little hackle fiber right there, you could pull it out and cut it like that. Well, cut it like that. And I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to pull tight, because I didn't pull tight before, and that's going to kind of sink that where I cut it off. It's going to make it where it fits a little bit better. Oh, I can't think of the name of it. From this angle, it looks like I probably could have made my thorax a little bit thicker. So now I'm going to take my thread, back it out. I don't want to put a whole bunch of unnecessary wraps here, because that'll make there be like a little collar underneath here. I don't want that. If you want to, you could finish behind the eye, but I just take my whip finisher and go underneath, make sure that it goes underneath all that hackle, over the hook, underneath all the hackle, over the hook. That's 1, underneath, 2, 3, 4, and however many you want to do is fine. So pull it up, bring it down, make sure it's nice and tight. And you notice when I'm pulling it, I'm holding the hackle or I'm holding the post itself, because when I pull this, I pull it really hard, I will bend the hook, because my post is not going to like just spin around. Cut the thread out, and now we've got a pretty little parachute there. That my post might be just a shade on the long side, honey. So we'll cut that off. I always cut these, I don't know, I would say too short, but for a long time I cut them way too short, and then I cut them way too long. Now, I don't know, something like that. It's about right. You can kind of plop it around a little bit. And that's our quick little.
And your timing couldn't be better, because it's about time for us to do a giveaway.
Okay, cool. Sweet. So Katie's going to, what are we giving away, honey?
We are giving away an Umpqua Essential Tying Toolkit, 5-piece.
Are you putting it on? It's still the hook. It's still the hook, honey. There you go.
This right here. See?
Yes. So if say Truman wins this, say he picks the correct number and he wins it, and he's like, well, I don't really need that. Truman can pick someone to give it away. We can ship it to him. He can give it to someone, or he can pick someone else live. So just because you might not absolutely have to have it, let's switch it on me.
Yeah, and let's also tell them to go ahead and start picking numbers.
They're picking.
Oh, they are.
So
okay.
1 to 0 to 199. And we'll do it for 3 minutes, and then we will we'll get going. And if the winner will ask if they would like these flies, they can have the ones we're tying tonight anyway. Okay, so we'll throw this down. So for let me show you this one more trick. So I've got my Sally Hansen's, you know how much I really like that. Someone said lacquer thread, and I don't know what you're talking about with that statement. I apologize. So see this little drop here? See that? That's just Sally Hansen's. I'm gonna kind of hold this upside down, drop that right there. See that, how it's gonna go in? Can't really see it, but you just see, you can barely see it right there. It's just soaking in. I've got it upside down because I want gravity to pull it into the post and not into my K-pop dubbing. And that is how that works. Thank you, Joe, on the Op 77. And I cannot get this needle back into this Sally Hansen's. So now that'll give it a little thing, a little durability. See, I didn't say I didn't use anything. All right, so let's do a size 18. I believe that's correct. Ooh, that soak. That's right. Get you going. Get you going. And even this 18, this is the size that typically I'm gonna fish. Now the March Browns, that's why I've tied that 14. But even the difference between the size 20 here and the 18, these are going to be more for the blue quills. These are going to be for the small ones. There she is. There's my little girl. Look at him. Look at him. Bang out that. See, David, you are taking over for Gary. He has been MIA too long. Too stinking long. All right, so we are going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to use 18-aught nano silk in black.
Okay, so maybe about 15 more seconds, and then we're going to pick a winner.
And Stub Montana, maybe Stub Mint hopes he wins. Maybe he's a new guy. I haven't seen him. Maybe he's a new tire that really needs to win this thing. Who knows? But I am just waxing it, my nano silk, and I'm going to start this on the hook. Same way we did the first one, and Katie is going to do the drawing right meow. Assuming we've got all that, yeah.
Yeah, I do. So here we go. Number one. First number is a 1.
Now, and just so you all understand, when Katie does that first number, she has got to mark 0 and 1.
Right. So it's 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So if the first number is a 0, it's going to be a 2-digit number. If it's a 1, it's going to be a 3-digit number.
So we're at 100 and something.
And the second number is a 1. So 1, 1. And 9. 119. That's our number is 119. So we should see if anybody had 119.
Awesome. So Katie, 119. All right. So see who all is ready to rock on that.
I'm checking. We have a 118.
Ooh,
Freddie.
118 Freddie. So that is a darn close one. Jello wrestling. Steve, you've always got the best comments. And I'm trying to find a darn piece of, I can't find any. Hello, Misha. How are you doing? Of course, I had it out just a second ago. Now I can't find it. Darn it.
I think it's Freddie.
Did anyone get closer to Freddie? Freddie was 118. Is Freddie still on here?
So Freddie, you are our winner, and you may decide if you would like to keep it or if you would like to pass it on to someone else. You definitely know how to reach out to us. So
okay, so he says he wants to donate it. So you can pick now who you would like for us to send it to, or we can draw.
Go to the next closest
she can
number.
draw the next closest number, whatever you like. I could not find. There it is. Good grief. A new tire, please. Okay, so who has been tying for less than 6 months? Anyone on here been tying less than 6 months? And the youngest tire, that'd be good for next time. Has anyone been tying for less than 6 months? So while we're looking at, the youngest tire. Okay, so Justin, are you 6 years old? I'm just kidding.
Are you less than 6 months?
Are you less than
old?
6 months old? Sorry, I'm getting my parachute post together. I have 7 months. So 6 months. Okay, so the bobbin holder, by the way. Yes, that is pretty cool. So Freddie, you can ask between Justin and Stub Mitt, and Freddie is under 120 years old. That's good. And whichever one you would like to send to, you can choose. Freddie.
Mike says his youngest is getting a vice for his birthday, and a tying set would be awesome.
Well, this is up to Freddie. Whoever he wants us to give it to, and now he's going to understand, like, it's tough. It is tough.
I tell you what, Freddie, why don't you send us? Does he want to send us a message, or you're the one who told him to do this? So
yep, he
I'm
can pick.
handing it off to you.
If he wants to pick now, he can, or he can pick later, whatever.
All right, he's picked. Mike.
Mike. So Mike is the one.
Mike, let us know your contact information by sending us an email to demoothflyfishing@gmail.com or by sending us a message on Instagram, please.
And please send Umpqua a note and tell them thank you, because this is from Umpqua. And we won't give away stuff every single week, but we try to give away something every week. So just like before, I've got my parachute post. I did cut this one in half. Got it here. Let's switch back over to the vise. All right, so I got my one wrap. So we're going to do this more real time. Ask questions, but we're going to do this a little bit quicker. So one wrap, 2, 3, pull back, 1, 2, 3, pull back, 1, 2, 3. All that's still tight. 1, 2,
Misha,
3.
Come here.
I want to give my bobbin a little twist because I want it to be flat as possible. Now we're going to go up this parachute post. And this is like the gallows tool, or you don't need them. You'll just practice this right here. See that right there? See that little gap right there? Undo it. You should be able just to go side by side all the way up and have a nice black, or whatever your color thread is. Now we're going to go down, whatever color your thread is. And we've got it just like that. I'm going to build up a little bit of a, like this. I'm not worried about a shuck on this one because we're going to bang this one out, like David, I think, said. Just building a little bit of a taper. This 18-aught thread is virtually impossible. That's what I like about it, because it doesn't build bulk. What can we use if you don't want to try goose biots? You can use dubbing. You can use, if you don't tie them really small, this one right here, I used the leftover feather that I had sitting right here from our show last week. I just stripped this off here. And see the white, black, like where the grizzly. I use the stem. Use lots of things. I don't say use whatever you want, but those are a few ideas. You could use a quill, a peacock quill. I mean, a traditional Klinkhamer just uses dubbing. They only use a thing. I'm gonna go with silver. And Chris Harris, if you're still watching, this one's for you, dog. This one is for you, because we're going to Barney it up. Dubbing with wire. Yeah. Black and white. Moose mane would be really pretty. I can't believe someone hasn't said yet, that's not a real Klinkhamer, because it's not the way Hans does it. And you're right. absolutely right. I'm tying a wire in here. We'll bring it down. No, there's not going to be a tail on this one, so it doesn't matter as much. And the magic sauce. Sorry, I got these before there were labels. This is Magpie. I got this from Moonlit. This is, I mean, I didn't write the color on it because I figured it was pretty obvious what color it was. And if you can't figure it out yet, you will. You will. And on that really small one, I really didn't want to use a biot because you see how they're pretty wide. And even though I trim them down, it makes them difficult. There, John, it helps you out. What did you do, Marcus? That's not a real thank you, Marcus. Now I feel like I'm breaking the rules a little more. I'm at it. No, and I don't. And that's why I'm not doing it on this one. So take my biot here. You can see I've got a little, and this is a whole nother thing to another night to talk about how to tie just with biot. These are awesome. Katie has the website for Magpie materials tagged up top somewhere. Check them out. So you can see I just trim a little bit of that off. And all that is if I don't trim it off, when I come up to here, this is close. That's as close to my last wrap as I can get. And now I'm okay. But before it was like down to here. So I just trimmed a little bit of it off. And I probably could trim more off. Probably should trim off. But I'm not going to. Oh, shoot. Hey, having a metal bobbin and a metal thing on your light doesn't work too well, honey.
No.
All right, let's make sure my thread is as flat as I can get it. I'm going to spin it around just a bit. This 18-0's a little bit more difficult to see when it's flat. Just shock. Yeah, you're correct, Steve. I wouldn't, well, I won't say I would never put just a standard tail on the clink because that probably would, like a soft tackle would be okay. But yeah, that's definitely a shock and not a tail for that on that last one. There we go. All right, we got this tied in. We're going to bring my bobbin cradle around. And remember, I'm not putting a knot or anything in there. Just going with it. Okay, so we're wrapping it like so. Remember, half a wrap at a time. Bring it, now put it right where you want it. Right here, right where you want it. Right where you want it. And this is an 18. This is a little bit smaller, but this is one of these 18s that if you came up and like put these in my hand, said they're 18s, I'd be like, well, 18's kind of pushing it. Like, I don't know if I'd really call that an 18, but the 14s are pretty darn big. So, but this would be a cool, just a good all around fly to have, size wise, and obviously color wise. I guess Chris Harris left. That little bugger. But he was the first one on. So, okay, so we've got our, see how that's tied in there? We're going to do the same thing with the wire. The wire is not necessary. I just think in this case, it's going to add a nice little bit of flash, a little bit of sparkle, and it does do the durability thing. You know, you guys have asked about the durability. I don't put glue, and normally on the ones that I fish, and this one will go in my box or to one of you guys. I don't bother with either with the wire or the glue because I'm not like a professional fisherman like you guys are. So, you know, if I can catch 3 fish on this fly and it's destroyed, I'm good. Like I'll tie another one. I'm not having days where I'm going out and catching like 50 fish on one fly and being like, man, after the 40th one that fell apart, that's the biggest junk fly I've ever had. But that's just because I'm a mediocre fisherman. All right, so I'm gonna measure this hackle out. Oh, good, it worked. It's purdy. I just happened to find. I feel like I was going to say, see, Chris, I was doing this one for you, little poiple. I feel like someone else that puts YouTube videos out, and it's made me feel kind of cool because I was going to say this and like honestly mean it. I found this hackle feather on my desk just now before we went live, and I was like, oh, that will make a good one for this fly. And it reminded me of someone else that is on YouTube that said that I admire very much. That he'll be like, well, this one was just sitting on my desk. And I'm like, dude, you've got the prettiest feathers just, quote, sitting on your desk. That's not fair. He does own a fly shop, though. All right, so we're doing the same thing. Trim just a little bit off that. Remember, thread on the point side of the post. Just capture the this bare stem in. Pull it up so it's the right length. Now we're going to take it around, bring it up, and you can see how I do hold on to the post when I'm pulling tight, but you can see I don't have to. Having the even pressure, like my post isn't going anywhere. There we go. I think that might be just I think it works. So I'm just going to capture the rest of that hackle fiber in. So we got our hackle fiber tied in. Now we're just going to put some purple K-Pock on. Track supply ad, white and gold creed, just laying around. Dude, I try to organize this stuff, and I haven't pulled a feather off of a thing. I'd still got in my box, but here's literally what I've got laying around right here. Like there's some really pretty stuff here. That would make I know if I went to some people's desk and they handed me this, I'd be like gold. So I know this would make someone really happy to get this little mess right here. But Katie, it drives her crazy. Here's a really pretty grizzly dyed done. There's some cool stuff. Anyway, I digress.
Parlez-vous français?
Yeah, we're all hackle dorks, big time. So I'm just dubing this up. Might need to put more on there, but we'll see how it goes. I'll say the thing I did before. I just don't have as much hook shank, so I want to go. Let's get that dubbing started as 1, 2. Bring it all the way over to where my thorax is going to start. A couple there. Bring it all the way back over here, back over. Let's see how this is looking there. Bring that. Start filling this one spot there in. And now we got that wrapped around. So let's see how it looks. It can be a little bit thicker. So let's get it right. Then we'll be done with these. So we'll do a regular parachute sometime. And this is just one that is one I feel like I do an okay job on. And, like a lot of things, it's probably just because I've tied a bunch of them, and that's practice is what makes it good, and practice makes better, not perfect. So when all else fails, just tie a bunch of bad ones. Do you think the beauty cream would help me? I need all the help I can get, so I'm messing and giveaway. David, well, maybe one of these days we'll just, it'd be kind of embarrassing to go, what are you giving away? Well, I'm going to give away the junk on my desk this time because I'm tired of trying to keep up with it. I do, believe it or not, I won't say on occasion, because more than on occasion, now this is getting too big. I don't want to undo it. I do take those and put them in my little hackle bin. Okay. Is that too big? Yeah, it's a little big. we'll make it work. So take it. Let's see if you can see it going this way, the way I normally do it. No, you can't. Shoot. Steve knows what I was going to say. Darn it. Okay, so once again, I'm going to do it backwards. All right, so we've got our post here. Just got a little dubbing on there. So let's try to flatten it all out. Take our hackle, bring it down, make sure we're going the right way, and it's just manipulate it till you get it right. Now, when I was learning how to manipulate the hackle, every now and then I would twist it around so much it'd be like a piece of wire, it would break. That's okay. Undo it and redo it. Like that, you're learning how to manipulate the hackle. If you're breaking the hackle, that's not okay. You don't want to do that much, but that's how you learn. You break stuff. So I think that was like just a few wraps. Because see if I put another one on there, and I can get that one on. So we're gonna go down under everything, over that hook eye, down 1, 2, 3. Bring it around like so. Got our little scissors here. Pull that off. Got a couple ones here that didn't want to cooperate. So now I've got that done. So that looks pretty. Can't tell me that doesn't look pretty, and I'm not done yet. Does it matter clockwise or counterclockwise? I go whatever wise your thread is going, Fudd. I want my hackle. We switch over to the side view, please.
Mm-hmm.
I want my hackle to, okay, my hackle's going this way. I want my thread to go this way. My hackle's going this way. I want my thread to go this way. I don't want them to go separate because you're not getting as good of a tie-in if they're going opposite directions. So I guess as you're looking down on it, I'm going clockwise. As you're looking down on the parachute post, I think that's correct. So I'm just going to finish this.
Alrighty.
Be done with it. So I bring this down. Everything underneath everything except for obviously on top of the hook. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I use that 18-aught thread so I can have a very small hackle right here. Not hackle. That wasn't the right word. I get distracted. So I don't have a big collar right there. So let's cut this off, twist it, try to get all of it like this. Cut it there. So here's our thing, and you see the color on it. That's pretty. I don't care who you are. That the fly may stink, but the hackle looks cool. Yes, marabou. I don't know what, Randy. I don't know what you're talking about with the marabou. So, guys, I'm sorry. We figured out. I'm glad Freddie picked. Thank you, Freddie, for picking a winner. Yeah, that's a really fun fly to tie. Feel free to shoot us any questions about tying these. You can tag us on Instagram, tag the photograph when you post it, Demuth Fly Fishing on Instagram, or you can email us, demuthflyfishing@gmail.com, and send us your pictures. We'll share them next week. If you don't have the right hook, don't have the right materials, don't worry about it. Do the best you can. Listen, if you have any questions, we will see you next week. And Katie's going to take us out. Thank you guys so much.
Have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.